and they couldn't tell him what to do and all this stuff. And so they was like, all right, your contract up, so we don't have to re-sign you, and they didn't. And I told them, because there was one of my boys, he was the coach, and I told him, listen, this is what's gonna happen, right? So as soon as you make him do something where he's not the star player, he's gonna feel a certain type of way, and when you get on that court, he's gonna do what he feels like, and he's gonna take dumb shots because he's gonna try to prove a point to you that he's like that. He doesn't understand that when you join teams that have already set hierarchy, you have to work your way into becoming a star player. People just don't give you that stuff. He's like, all right, thanks for the information. And they called me like a few weeks later. He's like, oh yeah, he did it in practice. I was like, I know. I was like, that's why you should cuss him out. And so that was his choice. And I said, I could have not said nothing to y'all to let y'all find out. Y'all would never know. I said, but I'm not that type of person. If somebody's a certain way, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna lie about it. That's like when the Bulls went and got Dennis Rodman. The Detroit Pistons probably told them the truth. Like, yeah, he gonna go get your rebounds, but he be doing some crazy stuff. He be doing whatever he feel like, but he said when the game come out, he come to play. And they're probably like, all right, cool. So they let him slide on doing a lot of stuff. It's like, as long as like when you get on that court, you do your job, we cool. And so it is what it is. Because people subscribe to people when you're being yourself and when you're just real. But when you try to act like you're better than people, people aren't gonna watch you. Unless you got connections like that. But even then, I'm like, man, I don't fuck. Oh, I know. I was in the army, so I experienced it. Flourish, be the best person they can be. Nah, they want to share their knowledge. Cause like, this is what I told him. I was like, I'm cold. I said, it don't matter what you do. I'm still gonna be the person I am. I'm still gonna have the same set of skills I have. What you do is not gonna have an effect on me. So I said, that's why I chose to help you. And I felt bad for you. And I said, and plus I don't like losing either. So, but if it happens, it happens. But if I can avoid it, I try to avoid it. Cause I could have win those games like, yo, nigga, I got 700 something flowers. You know who I am, nigga? But it's not that serious. I was like, I'm just trying to hoop and win games. That's it. And that's it. Because when you go in that random wreck, most point guards think it's about them getting their buckets. And then they get mad when centers and power forwards don't want to help them out on defense, or when they pass the ball in or get the rebound, they don't want to pass it to them. And then they call them haters and stuff. I said, this is a question you gotta ask yourself. Maybe it's not them, maybe it's you if the same thing keep happening. So it's called being a teachable leader. When you're a leader and you think you arrived or nobody can tell you nothing, that's a bad place to be. So everybody can learn something from anybody. Cause I say this, he's the one that helped me learn how to dribble and shoot the ball. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be able to do those things. And I used to tell people that. I'd be like, yeah, he's very good at shooting the ball. He's the one that taught me how to shoot. And he's the one that helped me learn how to dribble. And so that's why they told me, and they felt a certain way about it. And there's an old saying, your talent will take you where your character can't sustain you. Because you can have all the skills, but if you don't have the character or principles to stand on things and be a responsible person, you're not going to be there for very long. Yeah. But I also look at it as a lot of people who come from single parent households where they're raised by their mother are like that. They look at it as, oh, I did this, I did that by myself. Because sometimes, not all the time, a lot of their mothers act that way. And that's why people believe that's why LeBron is the way he is. Because he was raised by his mother, and then her father is like, because a father is going to tell you to stick it out and figure it out. He's not going to tell you to leave and try to find a better situation. So, or he's going to be like, okay, how can you make people around you better or raise them higher so y'all all can win? He said, because if you can get players that are not that good to raise their talent level or become better players, that's going to make you a better player and be like, oh man, and a better leader because they're going to look at you different. But if you always leaving and always want to be around superstars, that doesn't really say a lot about your talent level. And that's also why I can't put LeBron as the best player all the time. Because I look at every all-star or superstar that's been with him has to change how they play. I say, you look at Chris Bosh, look at Kevin Love, look at Kyrie Irving, look at D Wade, look at Anthony Davis. Who else? Look at Ray Allen. Look at Rajon Rondo. You look at Westbrook. All these players had to change how they played to fit LeBron. He didn't say, okay, these are your skills. Okay, let's work around these skills so we can make you an even better player. Nope. It had to be about LeBron. And then when he loses, he never says, oh man, that's on me. He blames coaches or he blames his teammates. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Cause they're like, we about to go to work this summer, and next year y'all gonna see we gonna come back. Just like I told you, when people like kind of doubt me, I like that shit, nigga. I love that shit, nigga. I'm like, oh really? All right, let me show you right quick. Just like when my dunk, when new people play with me, they think the dunks I'd be doing. They're like, oh man, that's a bad shot. But oh, all right. I'm like, I do this. After a few times, they don't say nothing no more. Then they realize, like, I'm probably one of the best passers on the court, and I don't have to run point guard. I tell people I pass to what I can see. I said I'm always looking at the court. I was like, that's how I'm able to get those dunks off and those shots off. So, and some people call that toxic. I was like, if it's toxic, I'm toxic then. I was like, you think that's toxic? I'm toxic. So, but me actually hating on somebody, I don't do that. If you want to get off, get off. Cause we gonna win either way. But most people care about basically their own stats. Yeah. 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 A lot of people want to play hero ball until it's gonna come a day where it doesn't work. And then you can be like, oh, what happened? Yeah. And they blamed everybody else besides LeBron. So they blamed everybody else besides LeBron. And people used to say, oh, you hating. I was like, why am I hating? I said, it's everybody else besides LeBron. It's because Kevin Love didn't make his shots. It's because Kyrie didn't score enough points. It's because Tristan Thompson didn't get enough rebounds. I said, at what point does it become LeBron's fault? Or him calling himself the greatest player ever? Oh. Yeah. I think it goes back to the argument we had. Because he's like, oh yeah, you right. Because, like, think about it. After we had that argument, he didn't really want to be in parties with me. He didn't really say nothing, even if I was in a party. He wouldn't say nothing to me, really. And what I told him, I was like, you're not black, you're not a minority, so you're not going to understand. So you can't say something doesn't exist. He didn't want to hear that. That's his choice. And I even told him, I was like, that's your choice. You can believe what you want, but that's still not going to change the facts. I said, white privilege is going to exist. Like, and he was like saying, I said, okay, if there's a program like that in tough place, it has to be in the government. Reparations, okay, I said reparations, that will be on a federal level that they say, hey, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars. So that would be a bill that they pass. But he was saying, oh yeah, if somebody come to your house, I'm gonna shoot that nigga. I said, I dare somebody try to, like, yeah, I'm gonna take your house. And no, you're not. You're gonna die. That's like what's gonna happen. I was like, I got papers to say I own this shit. And he was like, yeah, they're coming. Take. I was like, who's gonna come take it? Nobody. I said, reparations is monetary value. They give you monetary value or unowned land. That's all they're gonna give you. So they're gonna give you X amount of dollars and tell you like, okay, go buy a house. There you go. Sorry, put your ancestors in slavery. Our bad. And that's gonna be the end of it. Just like during 9/11, when all those people died on the plane, they gave them a settlement, but he didn't want to hear that. He wanted, yeah. So like they had to have like a Senate to vote on this to vote. Oh, we're gonna have this much money, and how much are these people's lives worth? That was the biggest issue. How much is somebody's life worth? And so they had to figure out how much that was. And so they gave a family X amount of dollars, and that was it. They would do the same thing with reparations. So, because there's a lot of people that think like me, like, yo, you